Well, good evening. How are you all tonight? It's another evening drinking Winter Saga after a long day putting up Christmas lights with the family. If you don't know what Winter Saga was, I talked about it last night. For those of you who do know what it is, don't tell the people who weren't with us last night, right? No, somebody actually said that it's great. I love it. It's my favorite drink that I have around the holidays. Um, and somebody made the statement that it sounds a lot like glog. And I said, I wrote about glog in a couple of my books. Did you know that? Yeah, those of you who have read my books know that. So I want to talk to you a little bit tonight about being aware, being careful of crazy people. now, now, most everybody who considers themselves, aware and prepared and all that knows that there are crazy folks out there you have to be aware of, right? And the world's full of them, that's for sure. With the world, I want to make this point too to a lot of people who think that the world is just full of horrible people. It's not. There is just loads of good folks out there. There really are, and I meet them every day because they're my customers and my friends, and we just have a great time. We have a great life. If you don't get change who you hang with, okay? Um, so there's a lot of good people out there, but there are some nutcases too. And I hate to say it, but some of them are in the prepper world. And this is a special. And now, those of you who have been involved in preparedness for a while, you know this. You already know this, right? This is mainly a warning for the. I'm still getting over this upper respiratory stuff. Um, those of you who are kind of new, this is kind of a warning for those of you who are new. Okay, you have to be careful who you listen to. There's some good people out there giving some good advice. Now, when I first started when I started this channel, I don't know, 2017, something like that, because I did it just to talk about my first book, The Reversion, and I've kept it up ever since. Um, it's there were good channels out there. There were a lot of good channels giving good information. Sadly, a few of them are still around, not very many, to be honest. They've kind of been replaced by a lot of the fear and doom and gloom channels, and the ones that are trying to tell you it's the end of the world all the time, and what you should be afraid of, and all that. And the preparedness landscape, at least on YouTube and places like that, has changed, and it's a shame. It really is. Um, so if you're new to preparedness, and we have a lot of new people, both here on this channel and on our Patreon channel, you have to be careful who you listen to. Okay, and because when you're new, you have a tendency to think, well, if somebody's talking, they probably know what they're talking about, and I have so many people leave comments, especially on the Patreon channel, to the effect that, wow, I'd listen to these other channels and I'd get all, it just stressed me out completely, and then I came to you, and you, you kind of settled me down and told me not to be frantic about this stuff, and I really appreciate it. Let me give you an example. I, I put up the one yesterday, right? It was about don't be a slave, and it was about the importance of having financial preparedness, of having multiple income streams, and it was kind of, I was responding to a a video that I'd seen a young lady put out on her channel about, well, she lost her job, and now she's wondering what to do. And so I was talking about, don't be a slave to any particular job. Be in charge. This is the whole purpose of really working towards preparedness. So nothing like that, will have a dramatic negative effect on you. Whether it's a loss of a job, whether it's a storm, whether it's whatever it may be. Clear on up to the big one, the EMP or whatever, grid down. Um, and I had mentioned a couple things in there. I had mentioned that I was drinking my Winter Saga after putting up Christmas lights, and I think I mentioned that Kelly and the kids were in the other room. If you heard laughing, they're in there again now. If you hear laughing, they're back there watching a Hallmark Christmas movie. It wasn't 5 minutes uh, till I got a comment that came up saying Christmas is a pagan holiday, and then saying some rather unkind things about me that I would at all observe Christmas. Oh my gracious. I realized a mistake that I made. I want to say this right now. I get those comments. I won't say often, but I get them, right? And when I get them, there is a certain, how should I say, subsect of people who consider them. Well, sometimes they don't consider themselves Christian. They consider Christians to be, out of whack. But I don't want to be. Let me put it this way. I want to show a little bit of Christian charity that they don't show to me. So I'm not going to slam them, but there are some misled people out there who feel this way, and they've been misled by leaders who are, it's kind of a cult like thing, and they don't really know the Bible. They think they do, but they don't really know, and they take great. They enjoy casting stones at people, with whom they disagree. And I get those. And now I took it off last night, and I thought, you know what? I always take these off. I shouldn't take those comments off. I should leave them on. So if the person whose comment I took off is listening, because even when I ban somebody, if they're really rude, they can still watch the videos. They can still learn. They just can't comment, right? Because once they've shown they're an asshat, I don't let them be an asshat anymore here. So if you happen to be listening, I want to encourage you. I want to let you know you've been misled. As far as, and people will come on and say, you worship a Christmas tree, you worship a tree, you worship a Santa Claus. They have no clue. You all have no idea what you're talking about. So I don't care if you keep talking, but read. If you want to come up with these things from a biblical context, read the Bible. Read the whole thing, not just the things that somebody told you was going to support what they wanted you to believe. Okay, so there you go. That's our theological lesson for tonight. But we do get those. So from now on, I'm going to leave those comments on, so the rest of you can enjoy them and see them. And I'll probably answer them. They're simply misled, and that's too bad, because there's not much that's more important about getting right than the God stuff, right? Yeah. Then I was watching another. So for you newer people, when you hear things like this, you hear people like this, don't let it bother you. Don't let it mislead you. Okay. Most people aren't like that. You're going to get something like that. Let it go. Okay. You keep your eye on the ball and realize that you need to be preparing as a responsibility of life. Simple as that. And do it with a clear eye, and do it with a positive spirit. there are others who they're kind of the end of the world crowd, or they're the doomsayers. The world is ending any minute, and it's been ending any minute for years, right? Any day now, any minute now, it's coming. The end's here. And the sad thing is, well, it's sad for them that they have been led to believe that. Yeah, I'm going to do probably one on the end times. Probably do it on the church channel. Maybe I'll put it on here. We are in the end times. But you don't know, and neither do I, and neither does anybody else, how long the end times are. It could be by tomorrow. It could be 1,000 years from now. And yet there are people who make their bread and butter by trying to sell people on the idea that the end times are coming. Well, the end times are here, but the end is nigh. And then I heard something this morning on a channel. It doesn't matter what channel. I'm not going to identify it. It's not my purpose to slam the person. But there's another one, this idea that all politics, anybody who's involved in politics is stupid, and it's all two wings of the same bird, and all this, and voting doesn't matter, and it'll blah, 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 blah. And he was this one guy was saying, he said, um, well, he was really tearing down people who supported Trump, right? And he said, you all who think that Trump is a savior, no man is a savior. Well, I don't think it. You see, here's one. It's a straw man argument. They set up an argument that's ridiculous. Nobody thinks that. Nobody thinks that. Nobody that I know. Nobody who's sane thinks that Trump is a savior of any kind. Okay, I think he's going to do good things. He's shown good things in the past. I happen to know quite a bit about him, and he's an amazing person. So we have great hopes that he's going to be able to start to turn our country around. Okay, that maybe we'll hope. Okay, maybe, but nobody out here is saying he's a savior. Um, we know that politics is politics. We take it upon ourselves to be responsible citizens and involve ourselves in the political process. You should. But anyway, so he went on and said, well, he was unhappy apparently with a couple of Trump's cabinet nominations. And I don't even remember which ones. It doesn't matter. He's going to find something that he doesn't like. And it just proves, as far as he's concerned, it just proves what he's always said, that you can't trust, this and all that. And he says, we don't know what we're going to get. And then the most amazing thing, one of the most amazing, unbelievable things I've ever heard was this. He says, at least with Kamala Harris, we would have known what we were getting. And I said, what? And he said, now it may have been 100 times worse, but at least we would have known what we were getting. I thought, that just, if my head could spin, it would have spun. What? You see, guys, there's a lot of this stuff out there in the preparedness world. It's too bad. It's too bad because it can be misleading to people who are just getting into preparedness and are looking to videos, books, whatever, for some kind of direction. And it's why I have always taken off comments from the comment section that I think are misleading, because you come here, you want to hear, an opinion of somebody who's been doing this for 50 years, right? Somebody who has given it a great deal of thought, someone who is reasonable, someone who is, well, I've written 7 books about it, right? But people who are just getting into preparedness, they don't know who to believe. They don't know, and so they hear this ridiculous hyperbolic claptrap, and they can easily be misled by it. The fact of the matter is that life is a challenge. Sometimes it's more challenging than others. But it's up to each one of us to shoulder the responsibility of of our own lives and the lives of those who depend on us, to develop a preparedness stance that will allow us to make it through whatever challenges come our way to the best of our ability. And as I always say, preparedness is responsibility. It's the ultimate responsibility, and it's the ultimate irresponsibility. It's simply the way our grandparents and great-grandparents and parents, lived and raised most of us to do. Put something aside for a rainy day. Excuse me just a second. I need another sip of Winter Saga. To prepare and try to make your life better every day. Protect or have a sane view of life. Have a sane understanding that bad things can happen, And the time to get ready to weather those storms is before they happen, right? We talk about uh, food and water, being responsible for all of those things, self-reliant in all of those things, and all of those external systems over which we have little or no control. Food, water, power, protection, shelter, people, all those things. And it's a normal way to live for people who understand that responsibility is their own, not the government's, not anybody else's. Um, and really, preparedness is the most sane way to live, because it means that you understand you can't rely on a government or whatever, people who don't care about you. And so in that, it is the ultimate insanity, it's the ultimate in responsibility. So if you're new to this, if you're new to preparedness, great. Don't let anybody tell you that it's too late. Nobody knows when it's going to be too late. Could be next week, could be, like I said, 1,000 years. But being prepared will improve the quality of your life now. While being afraid of everything and being concerned and always being negative and saying things like, Christmas is a pagan holiday and you're going to hell for, just realize that's not reflective of most people who are involved in the preparedness world. I know a lot of people. As you can imagine, I've written 7 books I wrote the Stonemont series, 7 books about the end of the world and everything like that. And a lot of you should read those. If you haven't read the Stonemont series, the links are down below. You can get them through Amazon or through our website. You'd be surprised how much you'll learn. You really will. And you'll be surprised how much you'll like the books. You will like the books. But as you can imagine, if you've written a lot about this and I've been involved in it for years, I know a lot of people in preparedness. Most people in preparedness are not wackos. But there are some out there. Just like life, right? Most people are good folks, but man, there's some nut jobs too, right? Just stay away from them. Don't worry about them. Don't let them affect you. Don't get wound up in their fear of the day. Don't get wound up in their strange beliefs. Okay. And it's just one of those things, you make the decisions of what you allow to affect you in your life. So that's my warning, Be aware. Be aware of people. Be circumspect. Let the good ones in. And avoid the others. And your life is going to be not just a lot happier, but it's going to be a lot better. And your preparedness journey is going to be a lot more productive. Okay? All right. Like we always say, whether we're drinking Winter Saga or not, we prepare well today in order to live well tomorrow. You guys get out there and do something. Enjoy your day. Enjoy every day. And enjoy it while assuming the responsibility for your own welfare. And do something every day to prepare. And if that something is cutting out the negative influences from the outside, that's probably one of the first things you want to do. All right. Y'all have a good day. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.